I saw this one today that said, show me a pic that'll make any man say, hell yeah, if they see it. And foregoing the obvious trending cliche that's lighting the entire internet on fire right now, I'll hold off on posting a pic of Sydney Sweeney in a pair of American Eagle jeans. Although, Polymarket is now tracking whether or not President Trump will mention Sydney Sweeney again by Friday. But check this one out. This is what got a hell yeah for me this morning, and it's what President Trump posted, and it says, I have instructed our Department of Commerce to immediately begin work on a new and highly accurate census based on modern day facts and figures, and importantly, using the results and information gained from the presidential election of 2024. People who are in our country illegally will not be counted in the census. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Hell yeah. Winning. And more winning from our boss of a commander-in-chief just in President Trump to sign executive order allowing cryptocurrencies and 401k retirement plans today. And so let me know. How many of you are planning to retire, have a 401k, or better yet, want to know more about cryptocurrency and basically the future of money, assets, and securities?
The Genius Act would also protect against threats to our national security and from criminal activity. It would require stablecoin issuers to uphold the same standards as other financial institutions to monitor and report suspicious activity, comply with U.S. sanctions, and block illicit transactions. Plus, the vast majority of stablecoins are backed by the U.S. dollar, which means this bill will create demand for the U.S. dollar and U.S. treasuries, something that is good both for our national security and our fiscal house. It's yet another reason why we should want stablecoins to be made in America. Mr. President, the Genius Act represents the bipartisan consensus on clear rules of the road for this new financial innovation. Today, stablecoin issuers are operating in a legal gray zone. Companies that want to follow the rules can't be sure what rules to follow. And the Biden administration didn't help matters with its numerous lawsuits, which left many U.S.-based companies contemplating moving out of the United States altogether. Mr. President, we want America to lead in financial innovation. We want to bring cryptocurrency into the mainstream, and the Genius Act will help us do that. Mr. President, it's time to pass this bill. The version of the Genius Act that we will invoke cloture on today reflects months of hard work and negotiations from members on both sides of the aisle. It's a good product that, as I said, represents the bipartisan consensus on the way forward. And I appreciate the leadership of Senators Hagerty and Lummis and Chairman Tim Scott in getting the Genius Act to this point. It's been a long haul. It began in March with a 3-hour markup in the Banking Committee, where senators considered 40 different amendments to this bill. It ultimately passed out of the committee by a vote of 18-6. Before we began floor debate, negotiations on the bill continued, and a number of changes were made to the bill, most of them to accommodate demands from Democrats, while maintaining the full-throated support of the administration. 3 weeks after the bill finally came to the floor, Mr. President, it's time to move forward and pass this legislation. I hope that we'll see another strong bipartisan vote on the Genius Act later today and in the coming days as we conclude our work. And I hope that the House will quickly take up this bill and send it to the President, who is eager to sign this legislation. Mr. President, as I said last month at the beginning of the floor process, the Genius Act will not be the last word on crypto legislation. There's more work to be done, including on market structure legislation. I know our colleagues have already begun work in that area as well. This remains a priority for many in our conference, and it is the next logical step in making the United States the crypto capital of the world. And I'm looking forward, Mr. President, to continued progress on bringing cryptocurrency into the mainstream and securing American leadership in financial innovation. Mr. President, digital assets are the future, and we're working to ensure that future is one where America leads.
We mustn't ignore what's happening right now. There's a plan in the works, and you don't want to be left out and clueless, or worse, late to the party. Pay attention, folks. The SEC has announced that crypto liquid staking activities are not considered securities. This statement from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission was released a couple days ago, August 5th, and it says, it is the division's view that liquid staking activities, as defined below, in connection with protocol staking, do not involve the offer and sale of securities within the meaning of Section 2A1 of the Securities Act of 1933, the Securities Act, or Section 3A10 of the Securities Exchange Act of 1934, the Exchange Act. And accordingly, it is the division's view that participants in liquid staking activities do not need to register with the commission transactions under the Securities Act or fall within one of the Securities Act's exemptions from registration in connection with these liquid staking activities. This is only the beginning, folks, and this isn't making quite a splash in headlines or mainstream news, but that's for obvious reasons.
Smoking hot blonde asked them,
like, how do you have so much money?
You know what they say, dumb money, babe, dumb money.
But wait, there's more. Martha sent me a message on Patreon and asked, hello, Kevin. I have a question about Bitcoin/crypto. There are news reports out talking about Washington passing a bill and a second one within 2 months. I tried to figure out what's going on. I don't understand what's this jargon is talking about. What I read was on Coinbase and a little bit online until I got frustrated with not understanding. I know there may be others who aren't understanding what Washington's doing or all the jargon. Is there a way you can help explain it easier than the reports coming out so it all makes sense? Thank you. And yes, Martha, you are right. There are so many people out there who don't understand what Washington's doing or all the jargon, and that's by design. Trust me. Also, yes, I can try to help and explain it easier than the reports coming out, but I can't make any promises or guarantee it will all magically or suddenly just make sense. But, like I always ask, stick with me here, folks, because we're going places. And I had a long talk last night with a friend, and he's very knowledgeable in the space and has a way with explaining blockchains, stablecoins, Bitcoin, crypto, and the switch that's happening right now that is the great wealth transfer in a way that's just easy to understand and kind of clicks when you hear it. His name's Keith D, and he has several videos like this one here about the US crypto report that just quietly revealed the future of money. I'll link this video in his channel in the description, and you should go binge watch his stuff because it's good. And you'll be glad you did. You'll be smarter afterwards. And it should help connect dots, make things make more sense, and aid in your wealth building journey and success. He invited me to join in on his podcast starting soon, so I'll keep you posted on that, where to find it, and how to watch and listen. And if you fall into the category of retired or soon to be and are interested in learning more about saving your money, then be sure to give our friends at Chapter a call for free Medicare help. Call them at 270-467-2426, and whatever money savings could potentially be there could be then exponentially more valuable and put to far better use in the crypto space with your newfound knowledge. And the best part is it is entirely free. We elected a champion, folks. We are winning in so many ways already as it is. Let's keep up the fight and win on all fronts. This includes your money, personal finances, and building wealth.
I am now in Poland, in Warsaw inauguration, where Nawrocki just got inaugurated, and look at these masses. Look at all these flags. People are celebrating that they have won, they have their sovereignty, they have their chosen leader. This is a win, not just for Poland, but for the rest of Europe. The deep state
The movement is worldwide. Karol Nawrocki, Poland's newly inaugurated president, is a staunch advocate for national sovereignty, border protection, family values, and Christian principles, reflecting a significant shift towards conservative governance in Poland, which contrasts with the secularization trends observed in other parts of Europe. MAGA is more than just America, folks. And just let me know, do we have anyone from Poland in the House? And Nawrocki's election and the subsequent public reaction highlight a broader European trend where countries like Hungary and Italy, and under leaders like Viktor Orban and Giorgia Meloni, are also championing traditional and Christian values, potentially influencing regional politics and policies towards a more conservative stance. Look and watch. This guy is an absolute beast. This is Poland's new president challenging this young lad to a push-up contest, and he wins. Gotta love it. And look, guys, I'm all for less government, but if we had more political leaders like this, well, maybe I could make some exceptions. Peace through strength.
The cultural paradigm right now is a rebellion of the men of the West. It's happening in every major country, where young men are finding podcasts like ours. They're finding other information conduits that believe in nature, believe in God's design, believe that men should have to stand up for the vulnerable, create a family, provide for the family, have to protect the weak, to fight the battles of society, to go on an adventure. This is very appealing to young men when they hear it. There's a lot that you can call Donald Trump. No one has ever called him feminine.
Right.
In a toxically feminine world, again, all the media missed this and almost every cultural critic missed it. We didn't. In a toxically feminine world, you have the absolute inverse of that, which is like ultra masculine. Never apologize, red tie, big plane, super rich, supermodel wife, right? It's gonna be big, and Mexico's gonna pay for it, and we get more tariffs, and it's like as bravado, strong men as you can get. And young men didn't care that, it wasn't even about policy. That's what people don't understand, is that it was partially policy. It was like, no, he is the middle finger to all of the screeching hall monitors that have told me I have to use certain pronouns, that have told me that I'm bad for existing, that have penalized me for my existence. And Trump is the big F-U to the feminist establishment that has not been challenged my entire life.
And the similar traits and strong leadership are blaringly obvious. Charlie Kirk points out how there's a lot of things you can call President Donald Trump, but feminine isn't one of them. No one has ever called him feminine. Now, I can't say the same is true for Barack Obama, but I digress, because we're looking ahead, not backwards, and we're focused on the wins. We only want strong leaders, real men and real women who know right from wrong and what it takes to build prosperity in a safe and secure America that the rest of the world can aspire to achieve as we lead by example.
Unless I run again.
Are you going to run again? The
No,
Constitution.
probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
And you're not going to fire Jay Powell. We'll go all talk about all the stuff that.
Hey, Becky, I'd like to run. I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. You know why? Because people love the tariffs, and they love the trade deal, and they love that countries. And they love that foreign countries aren't ripping us off anymore. For years, they ripped us off, friend and foe.
And we can talk about repealing the 22nd Amendment in another video, but we know what we must do, ladies and gentlemen. J.D. Vance is the future. But it's really funny knowing libtards are going to flip their shit just from the very mention of DJT calling for a three-peat. Hands down, no competition. Like if you agree, J.D. Vance will be 48th. J.D. Vance will be the next president. Gavin Newsom will never be president. And the hits just keep on coming, folks.
I'm wondering, do you miss having him around the White House, or is that poll accurate?
I don't know if the poll's accurate. I think he's a good person. I think he had a bad moment, really bad moment, but he's a good person. I believe that.
President Trump, are you keeping that 10 to 12 day deadline? China, DC.
And take that. Suck on that, Newsom. Frickin' loser. The latest loss handed to the failed and feckless socialist governor. Judge sides with Elon Musk and X, strikes down California law restricting election parody videos. And honestly, with the latest updates to Grok Imagine, this is going to be good. Get your popcorn ready, folks. And if you haven't tried it out yet, give it a spin. Elon just said for the next few days, Grok Imagine video generation is free to all US users. Download the Grok app and try it out. And for all my Android family members, Grok Imagine video generation is now available on Android too. Show me what you create and tag me on X. My account name is @Kevin247 YouTube. And to wrap up our chat, we have more breaking news. Great news. An exchange between President Trump and Peter Doocy, and President Trump all but clears the GOP 2028 presidential primary field as he says J.D. Vance is likely the favorite.
Morning that you probably won't be running for a third term. This weekend, Secretary of State Rubio said that he thought J.D. Vance would be a great nominee. You could clear the entire Republican field right now. Do you agree that the heir apparent to MAGA is J.D. Vance?
Well, I think most likely, in all fairness, he's the vice president. I think Marco is also somebody that maybe would get together with J.D. in some form. I also think we have incredible people, some of the people on the stage right here. So it's too early, obviously, to talk about it, but certainly he's doing a great job, and he would be probably favored at this point.
And on Texas, if Texas redrawing...
And Amuse shared 2028 election predictions and how Trump made it clear J.D. Vance is his heir apparent and recommends that he select Marco Rubio as running mate. Do you think Vance wants Rubio as his vice president, or would he want someone else? If someone else, who do you think he'd pick? Trump wants J.D. Vance to select Marco Rubio as running mate, but will he agree? And President Trump said that Vice President J.D. Vance is his heir apparent, becoming the Republican nominee in 2028. Trump also floated the idea of a potential future Republican ticket that could see Vance team up with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The only question remaining is whether Vance wants Rubio. Or maybe there's another question. Does Rubio want Vance? Do we want Rubio? Because hear me out. What if Rubio's in the best cabinet position he can be in?
A meeting, quote unquote, either a meeting with Putin or a meeting with the three of them would occur next week. Are you optimistic about that? Yourself included, I suppose. I don't want to shortchange our Secretary of State. But do you think a meeting will come next week?
I don't know if it'll be next week or not. Well, it remains to be seen. You know, I think it'll depend a lot on how much progress we can make. This is important in the sense that we think what happened was good because we have a sense now of what conditions the Russians would require in order to end the war. Now, they may not be the conditions Ukraine can accept or, frankly, that others would accept, but at least we have something to work off of. So I think a lot of that is going to depend now on how close can we bring the two sides to each other? Can we make enough progress? Can we get 85% of the way there, 75% of the way there? Because I don't think you can have a leaders level meeting if you're not close enough, because then nothing's going to come of that meeting. So we want to get it close enough, and then we want to give the president the opportunity to come in and close it. So I can't prejudge how long that could take. It could take hours. It could take days. Frankly, it could take weeks. We don't know. But we're going to try here. We're working on it, even as we speak.
We'll pick this back up and more as news develops. I hope to see you guys back here for my next video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.